Okay, this is probably like my fifth time recording this because I don't know. I feel like I don't really know where to start, but I have my little pad here with some bullet point notes that I want to hit on so that I can stay on track. But as the title states, I quit my job. I quit my corporate job. I'm 23 years old, mechanical engineer, and I'm just at a point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. This as in corporate anymore. And it took me it took me a long time to end up getting to that decision. I'm sitting outside, and so whenever I move, the camera's gonna make noise, so I apologize for that. But I just want to get into this, and I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about like why I made the decision to leave corporate and what's next for me, because I did quit without having another job lined up, which is and was very scary for me to do. But there were a lot of things that have kind of gone into me deciding to quit and move back home. So again, I'm just gonna jump into it. So I feel like, just to start off, and I've talked about this before in like my previous episodes, or like episodes, well, yeah, episodes slash videos on my channel. I feel like I've done everything that I was quote unquote supposed to do. For me, going to college and like getting a degree was a non-negotiable. Like my mom made it very clear to my brother and I that we were to go to school, we were to get a degree, and make sure that you get a degree in something that's going to make you money. Like that was like a non-negotiable, and I'm pretty sure there's so many people who can relate to that kind of like upbringing. And so for me, I kind of have been on a path that was I don't know the word for it, like I guess pre drawn up for me. And my entire like life has been about going to school, getting a degree, and ultimately getting a job in corporate. And so for me, that was the path of mechanical engineering, which I love. um, if I have to be honest, I don't know if I'm like extremely passionate about it, but it was something that I could do to ensure that I had like a good salary, you know? And I think being in school specifically, and I'm sure this happens in so many, not even I'm sure, I know that this happens to so many other people in different scenarios, but just talking about like my isolated experience, like being in college, especially as an engineer, like a very rigorous type of field of study. There's so much like comparison and just feeling like you have to do what everyone else is doing. And it wasn't until I left and I got out of that where I was able to kind of just really sit with myself and be like, I don't even want to do this. You know what I mean? But anyway, just to talk a little bit about that experience a little bit more, for me, the way that I viewed school was your entire purpose of going there is to get a job. Like you're not really there to, of course you are there to have like different experiences, but like the end goal is to graduate, get a job. And that's pretty much beaten into your brain. And so by the time that I graduated, I didn't have a full-time offer. I had internships in school, um, two aerospace internships. And again, all of the things that I've been through, really good experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But throughout those internships, I knew like deep down that I didn't want to be in corporate. I didn't really care for the culture of it. I didn't care for the corporate politics. Like it just felt that I should be doing something else with my time. And that's not to say that I won't find myself up back in corporate again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because while I did quit and I don't have a job lined up, I do have a set amount of savings, but that can only last me for so long. So that's not to say that I won't find myself back in that, but I'm just speaking from where I was back then. I didn't really feel like it was for me, but again, just going through and finishing through with the path that was set for me that I was told I should be doing, I ended up getting a full time offer after college about a month later. And while I was happy, a part of me was very like, my heart basically sunk to my stomach a little bit, because when I was just kind of getting used to, okay, I'm probably not going to get a full time offer. Um, Maybe it's just not meant to be. Like, why am I trying to fight so hard to get back into a situation that I know I don't really want to be in? I got the offer, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And with that being said, that experience of me moving to South Carolina, working for Boeing as a manufacturing engineer, was amazing. Like, I do have to say that that was probably one of the more interesting jobs and more fun jobs that I've had. I feel like I grew a lot in that experience, not even just job wise, but just on a personal level. It wasn't my first time moving out of state, but like, so for my two internships, I moved to, one of them was Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, and then the other one was Seal Beach, California. But with internships, you know that you're not going to stay for very long. It's like 2.5, 3 months at best. So there was always this feeling of like safety, because I knew that I was going to be able to come home at the end of it. But with this full time job, I just felt a deeper responsibility to like give it a fair shot. And it took me a while to like really come to terms with like, this just isn't for me. This job, this location, just the whole thing is not for me. But again, like when you're graduating and just as you're adulting throughout life, you want to be, or at least I was trying, and I still am trying to be more like aware of my decisions, and I'm trying to be responsible. So quitting this like ideal job where I'm making a decent amount of money, I have a roof over my head, I have my own place, like all these things. Camera recording. Sorry. I have all these things. To let all of that go was scary for me. And I kind of felt like a loser in a way, you know? Because again, I just am thinking of like, okay, I went to school, I did all of this stuff, and I'm here, and like I'm still not happy. Like this is just not what I want to do. I know that I could be doing something else, and I have an idea of what that could be. Like I was able to work on my side business for a while and pursue a lot of different things, and learn a lot of different things that I could want to do, like this YouTube channel, for example, like YouTube content creation. I really enjoy that. Web design, I've been able to build that business up. And so I'm not saying that me doing that job was not helpful, because I was able to earn an income and then also explore on the side, but it just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? And so I had to sit with myself and decide like, okay, number one, stop thinking about what other people would think, and also stop letting my own self get in the way. And my grandma, she always like would tell me this, and it's so simple, and it's like duh, like in hindsight what she's saying, like it's very true. But she would always tell me just like, unfortunately we have to work. Like as people, as society, we have to work. Money runs the world. You can't really do anything if you don't have money. So if you're gonna work, you need to make sure that you're doing something that you love. And I never really, I don't want to say I didn't understand it when I was younger, but like when you are thrown out into the real world, you got bills to pay, and you have so much responsibility, you start to realize like just how serious stuff is. And everyone can't just up and leave their job. Like most people can't do that. Most people are in situations where either they don't have, like for me for example, and I'm kind of opening up here, but like my dad passed away when I was 12. My mom, thank God, is still here. If she wasn't here, I wasn't going to be able to quit my job. Like thankfully I had a place to lay my head, but I recognize that everybody doesn't have that. Like, and even if you do have family that's still around and alive, like everyone doesn't have a good relationship with it. Like there's so many different situations that people are in where you are in a job that you fucking hate, you can't stand it, but what's the alternative? Like people have family that they have to take care of, they have kids. So I feel like thinking about it in that way, and factoring in just so many other things, like where I was, like the location for example, um and I recognize that with every job, or like with everything in life, you can't have it all. Like, or maybe it can, but that's just never been what I've experienced. Like I've with a job, for example, there, yeah, I guess we'll stick to jobs because we're talking about that. But it's either the location is good, the pay is good, but maybe you don't really care for your coworkers. Sorry. Or maybe you really like the job, but the location sucks, but you like your coworker. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a mix of kind of different things. And that's not to say that you can't get all three or all four, whatever the different, categories that you want to, I guess, label life. But I'm just going to look at my list here and just kind of talk about some of the reasons or some of the things that kind of led me to make this decision. For one, like I said, like the location was something that I just couldn't really stomach. And I think that's important, like when you're looking for a place to live and obviously a place to work. Sometimes it doesn't always end up that way, but for me, I just wasn't really able to get with where I was location wise. Like it was, the culture was just different from what I'm used to. I'm from Houston. And so I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. That's where the job was. And it was just different. Like different in some good ways, in my opinion, and then different in some bad ways. Um, but also like being away from family. And I think that's another reason why, that's like a main reason why I decided to come back home and um, just reconnoiter is like being away from family is tough. Like it's tough, especially if you have like a good relationship with your family and everything like that. For me, I just realized like I've missed so much time with my family. Not even just being away for the full-time job, but like even with school. I went to school um at a HBCU called Prairie View A&M PVAMU, about like 30 minutes away from my house in Houston. So I wasn't even out of state, but I'm just like doing so much reflecting on my life and how I've just been in constant like perpetual motion. And with school, you go there to, like I said, to work. And some degrees or some fields of study you can be a little bit more lax, but with my specific degree there was not really a whole lot of time for um I guess like life outside of school. And so even when I was visiting back home, maybe like on break or whatever, I was still doing work. I feel like I had a lot of time that I really wanted to spend with friends or family taken away from me from school. And it was my choice. Like that was just something that I knew that I had to get through because I felt like that sacrifice would be worth it in the end. And to a certain extent, like I do feel like it was. I don't regret my time in school, and I don't regret my time going to South Carolina. But I say all that to say that hindsight is 2020, and I guess I could just hit me being at my job in corporate, being at work for fucking 8 hours, sometimes more, having to wake up like at the crack ass of dawn. Because the type of job I had, like it was, you could come in. I got in work every day around like 4 in the morning, but there were days where I had to come in even earlier, like 2 in the morning. So just factoring in all this different stuff and like the high intense environment of a manufacturing job, I was just like, this is too much. Like, if I'm gonna work, I need to be doing something that I love. And I want to do something where I can spend time with my family. And again, it's like maybe it's me just being young and naive and still having to like understand that no, like this is just how life is. You can't have it all. But I think that's the other thing I'm wanting to discover for myself is like, what if there is more though? You know what I mean? Like, what if I can do something else that doesn't require so much of my time away from the people that I love, away from the things that I love? And that was the other thing that kind of just made me make the leap is like I feel like I lost myself in school and in corporate chasing after this like this feeling and this prize that was promised to me. Like when you get the degree, everything's going to be fine. When you get the job, everything's going to be fine. And that just has not been the case. And so I feel like me quitting is me choosing myself, and I want to get back into the things that I just haven't done in so long, like run again. And like I like when I say run, long distance running, that's something that I'm into. Or maybe rug tufting. Like I've gotten into rug tufting a little bit. I bought my whole kit, but every day I would come home from work, I wouldn't even want to touch it because I'm so damn tired. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that there won't be moments like that again if I do find something that I enjoyed where I won't be tired and things like that. But I just, to me, I just feel like there has to be more to life than me doing stuff that I don't enjoy. I think that's like the whole thing that I'm trying to get at is I need to stop trying to make things fit that I know don't fit for where I'm at right now in my life. And I think especially like with my generation, because I was talking like when I first talked with my mom about this, and she's so supportive. But when I first talked about it with her, like deciding to quit, because I was vacillating in between it so many times. Because again, it's like I have this really nice thing that looks good on paper, but I don't feel good. Like I feel like shit. I kind of fell into a depression in a way. And she's just like, well, are you sure you want to quit? Like you have kind of like what I was just saying, you have all these things. And I'm just like, but I don't feel happy doing it. And I think that's something that I really do admire about like our generation or my generation. And sometimes we get shit for it. Like I think the older generation is kind of like, well, back in my day, I had to thug it out, and it's like there's so many like pros and cons that you can take from both. You have to find like a middle ground of taking calculated risks and not just floundering around in life, but also staying true to yourself and knowing when something just is not working. And again, recognizing that everyone can't just, up and leave their job. So I totally get that. But I feel like that's just kind of where I'm at right now is like finding a balance in between doing what I know is best for myself, but also just making sure I'm not messing my like life up in the process. Cause there's so much pressure on like doing and working these specific jobs to make all this money. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't have both, but I think I'm at the point where I just need to take some time to figure out what I want to do. I don't know what that looks like just yet. And if that means that I have to take a pay cut, like I'm okay with that. I think working a job that I had previously where I was making a decent amount of money, it's like it was good, but again, I wasn't really happy. And so I think the other thing that I'm kind of realizing is with me being in school and like having such like a rigorous degree where it was just so much stress for me, and then leaving and then working a job that was very fast paced and high intensity, I'm kind of just like I don't really I don't have to work like a serious job. Does that make sense? Like I worked at Home Depot my sophomore year of college, and that job was the best job I've ever had. Like, and I'm not even saying that Home Depot is like some low, non serious job. I'm not saying that, but like, compared to a job where you're responsible for putting people on planes and you're making planes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's, all that. And then like, I had more fun at Home Depot. Like, I'm just like, I want to know what it feels like to work a job where I'm not out here stressing about, I don't know, I don't want that pressure on me right now. Like I've had pretty much 5 years of stress and pressure, and I want to know what it's like to just work as, I don't know, like maybe as, what do they call that? The people who serve like coffee, like is it a barista? Or maybe like a bartender. Or I just applied to this job. It's part-time, but I just applied to this job where I could be like a photographer, where I would take pictures taking pictures of staged furniture. And I'm like, that just sounds like so much fun. Like I haven't had fun in so long. And I know what comes with that is not, I'm not saying every job is like if you're having fun you can't get paid, but like the jobs that I'm looking at, the they're not going to give me the paycheck that I'm used to having, if that makes sense. And so I recognize that that's kind of like the trade-off, but I just feel like I need to explore that and figure out again like just what I want out of life, because all I've ever known is corporate jobs. And so I don't know. I feel like this era in my life is just about taking the route less traveled and just getting back into the things that I enjoy, really. Like I already said, like long distance running, content creation, like just trying to explore other avenues that might be able to create some extra income for me. Like I don't know, but I just want to say that although I'm scared and I genuinely don't know what's next because like I said, I don't have another job lined up. I feel like I owe it to myself to try different things and really just walk in faith. I think is kind of where I'm at with it. And it's like when I quit my job, I was sad, yes, but there was this feeling of like I can breathe, like I feel free, I have my time back. And I think that's like the main thing that I'm pretty much getting at is like all we have in this life is time. And yes, we have to work, yes, we have to make a living, yes, we have to make money and all this stuff, but it's like I need to make sure that I am not doing things that do not make me happy. You can't be happy all the time, and I get that. But my time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Our time is valuable. And so I think that's kind of just where I'm at right now. How can I stay true to myself, make a decent amount of living, like decent money so I can live, but not like lose myself in the process. And like I said, I may go back to corporate, I may not. I may find something that's different, I may not. Like all of it is kind of up in the air. But I just wanted to get on here and just share like what I'm going through because I know I'm not the only person. I know I'm not the first person and I won't be the last. But I want to just like post on here and just share my story. And I am also just going to talk about just different things that I've learned being in corporate and talking about my experience in corporate, especially being like the only black female on my team, the only black woman on my I think it was about like three of us, three or four of us on my entire floor. So I just feel like I have a story to tell, and I just want to stop feeling scared to like post on here, stop feeling scared, and stop waiting for life to like come my way. Like I need to grab life and make of it what I want to make of it, if that makes sense. Because, like I said, this path that I've been on has pretty much already like been pre-written, predestined. Go to college, take the courses, get the internships, get the job. It'll be great. Everything's gonna be great. And it's like, but it's not great. So yeah, I don't know. Um, and this is not to like shit on anyone who is still in corporate because I think there is, to be honest with you, I think if that job was just maybe in a different location, like who's to say that if the job was here in Houston where I had my family, I had good pay, the job was okay enough for me to deal with, and I was still able to pursue other things on the side, who's to say that I still wouldn't be there? So like there's so many different things that people have to consider. And it's just for me, like this is kind of just where I've ended up. But um I don't know. Let me know if you're in the same situation as me, if you're trying to figure out what you want to do for work, or if you've figured out maybe something else that you didn't really think would make you money, but it's kind of surprisingly making you money. And not even just on like a money sort of thing, but what are you doing that's making you happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you looking forward to if you're in the process of quitting your job, but maybe you have like 2 weeks before you pull the trigger? Or, like what decisions are you vacillating in between if you're trying to decide if you want to quit your job at all? You know what I mean? So I look forward to just literally walking you all through my thought process, my life, what I'm going through, different topics that I want to talk about. There's so much that I want to talk about on here. And now that I have the time to do it, I'm just going to do it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. And if you're going through the same thing like me, just know that you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But I think the most important thing is, oh, and I'm going to end on this actually, because I met this guy before I left at my favorite restaurant in Charleston called Heavy's. Heavy's Bar Burger. Really good burgers, really good food. But it was just random guy. Me and my mom started talking to him before we were about to head back to Houston. And he was like in his maybe like late 40s, mid 50s, cool guy. We were just talking about life and like what he's going through. And he's like in this era in his life where whatever he's going through, he is trying to just stop letting his beliefs and limitations get in the way of what he wants to do with his life. And he's like, I just want to live like YOLO. You know what I mean? And I was telling him about, me moving back and quitting my job. And he was like, you know what? You didn't fail though. Cause that was the other thing that I was just thinking to myself, like, did I fail? Like, I did everything that I was supposed to do and I just don't feel right. And he's like, you didn't fail. Like, you literally just tried something, you gave it your all, and you just realized that you didn't like it. That's it. And it's so simple what he said, but I'm like, sometimes life really is like, I think sometimes we overcomplicate it. And again, I'm not saying like things can't get messy and complicated, but sometimes it is really just like you try something, it either works or it doesn't, or maybe it works for a while and then it doesn't later, or it's not working and then it does. You know what I'm saying? But in my case, I tried something, I didn't like it. I knew that corporate wasn't for me. I don't know what is next, but like the important thing is that I tried. And even if I may not like believe it just yet, even if I am still feeling a little bit down on myself, I know as time goes on and I start to try different things again, trying, I'll figure out what it is that I'm, I guess, supposed to do. Not even for the rest of my life, because that just sounds so like daunting. But whatever it is that I'm meant to do at each moment in my life, that's all I can do is just take it day by day. So if I leave you with anything, I want to leave you with that. Again, I'm gonna take you guys on this journey because I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that I'm just gonna try. So yeah, bye. See you in the next video.